I just want to start from sharing that in Ukraine now we not only have the explosion of social trust, but we have a tremendous explosion of creativity. And the number of poems that were written both by poets and simple people is enormous. And even the Ministry of Culture has made a special website where anyone can upload a poem. I truly enjoy visiting it from time to time and reading random works. But there are a few poets who have literally exploded from the first days of war. I don't know where are they channeling this from, but I believe that what Ukraine is manifesting and what we've already touched upon in terms of the meta-modern cultural code, it's also through poetry. There was one poem that struck me deeply, and this is a poem by Maxim Korovnиченко, written in March 2022. And I was preparing for the Integral European Conference and other events and thinking, how can we also involve poetry in order to express what we are feeling in a more understandable and cohesive way. And this poem was with me throughout all these 4 months of war. And then at a certain point, I decided we need to have it in English. Maybe it won't sound as brightly, as vividly as in the language we understand. And by the way, it's Russian. It's this poem was written in Ukrainian, was not written in Ukrainian. I suggested to the author to try to translate it, and I so much appreciate that he said no. He said no. This is the way it came, and basically I'm accepting it with gratitude. So I contacted him and said, listen, we need to have it in English. And he said, okay, if you find someone, I would be happy to listen to it in English. I've started to look for someone who can really, really grasp the essence. And believe me, it is not easy. This poem is full of dance of polarities and paradoxes. And that's why I think it's a bright example of meta-modern. And I've contacted a dear friend, Gail Karen-Young, who will be speaking today very soon. And I said, Gail, please help me to find someone who really can do it. And she introduced us with Adrian, a bright English, coming from UK, poet and theologian and philosopher and wonderful person with whom we sat together for hours, and as a result we have this poem translated. It's called With Love, and I believe it is the manifestation of the state of consciousness from which the Ukrainians are fighting in this war, because we really want to highlight that it is not hatred that is driving us, it's something else. And this state of consciousness is brightly described in it. And Adrian, over to you to say a few words, and then maybe I read it first and then you read it in English. Mm-hmm. Adrian needs to be unmuted.
That should be possible now.
That's great.
Yes.
Thanks, Kateryna. Thanks, Ivo. It was a shock to be asked at first, having no knowledge of Russian or Ukrainian. But it was the day after the Eurovision Song Contest that Kateryna and I spent a few hours working with this piece, and she sent me the video of the winning entry, and that was an entry into this poem. It was so powerful to see the way that was that video portrays what's happening in Ukraine. And it immediately had a resonance for me. Kateryna said to me, how do you understand this? You seem to understand what's happening here. And my mother and grandmother lived through the Second World War in London, in what we call in London the Blitz, the bombing that went on for years. And something in the way she had helped me understand where this poem was coming from resonated with my family memories of living through these terrible events and the feelings of helplessness, but also the feeling of, as Kateryna says, these contrasting feelings of hatred and love, of fear and courage, of darkness and light. And I was completely taken with this poem and tried to render it in English as brightly as Kateryna explained. And it was a privilege and an honor to be somehow, as a poet, connected with what was going on in the soul of people in Ukraine, what was happening to people, ordinary people, not what you see of the politicians, but the actual people on the ground. This seems to be speaking with the voice of the ordinary people, and that's what my memories are of my mother and my grandma, what ordinary people went through. And I wrote a poem about them, and I called it The Beautiful Ordinariness of Love. So the constant refrain in this poem, with love, is to me the refrain of the human spirit in the face of terror and fear, is that people find a way to speak with love. So if Kateryna reads the Russian, and then I'll read my translation that we worked on.
Максим Коровниченко. С любовью. Вгрызаются сутками мысли, как свёрла, где-то в районе надбровья. Впиваться зубами врагу в его горло. С любовью. Из яблочка шкурка скользит по ножу. Потом потереть с морковью. Сметаной полить и подать малышу. С любовью. С колонной врага возжелать жарких встреч и поступь, услышав слоновью, коктейлями танки безжалостно жечь. С любовью. Завешаны окна, как в склепе, точь-в-точь, поставить свечу в изголовье и долго молиться про тихую ночь. С любовью. А врач из кусочков нас целых сшивал. Спасибо вам, док, на здоровье. Плевать, что без ног мы поедем на бал. С любовью. Придет похоронка и сухо собой окрестит твою долю вдовью. Ты деткам расскажешь, что папа — герой. С любовью. Я эту войну никогда не прощу. Смешалась ненависть с кровью. Мы сотку победную выпьем к борщу. С любовью.
With love. Thoughts hammering in drilling litanies every day, igniting fantasies that arrive to bite the throats of our enemies with love. And the knife snips under the apple's skin until it is naked and grated and soused with cream to feed the smiling child with love. Awakening our hunger to meet the tank's elephantine plod. The people move, bringing cocktails to burn their flanks with love. On the bedhead, a candle of prayer we light. Entombed by the window's blackout, in long hours we pray for a quiet night with love. From scattered pieces, the medics sew us together. Thank you, Doc. You're most welcome. Without our legs, still the great feast we enter with love. The black telegram arrives, the fatal fact that dryly dubs you with the lot of widowhood. Tell the children of their father's heroic act with love. This war I will never forgive. Its effrontery, our rage is sustained by a blood moon above, until we down vodka and borscht in victory with love.
Thank you.